Hey guys, welcome to the new video of today, and today I'm making a guide for Camille. But before we get into this video, I have made a guide for Kalista in the last video, so if you haven't seen it yet, please make sure you check it out. So now getting back to the video, this will probably be one of my most favorite guides I'm ever gonna make because Camille is one of my most favorite champions and I really love playing her on the Twisted Treeline. Seriously, I love this champion. So I'm gonna tell you the runes, the masteries, the item builds, everything you need to know about Camille. So starting off with the pros and the cons. The first thing I really like about Camille that not a single champion has is that she has a really insane long jump, and with this jump you can easily pick off people that are making mistakes. Because she has really high mobility, high enough to jump from the right to the left, she can easily gank bot lane, and that's why she has really good ganking potential. Not only does she have the really long jump where you can even use the W in the middle of the jump for the slow, you can even lock down people on the bot lane. Once you gank them, you can ult them, you lock them down and you kill them straight up. And that's why she has really good ganking potential. Another good thing that Camille has is that she has really insane scaling. If she gets to the point where she gets 3 to 4 items, she's nearly outscaling almost every bruiser you can think of, which makes her a really big threat into the late game. That's why I've also put strong mid and late game into the list because her mid-late game is just insane. Also, something that Camille has that most of the other champions don't have is that the main source of damage that comes from Camille is coming from true damage. Now basically what this means is that the enemy team can pick something whatever they want, and if they build armor into you, that will only be good for you because your main source of damage is true damage. It will just ignore all of the armor. That's also why Camille is really good against tanks. Now one final thing which Camille really excels at is that she has really good chasing. Now when you're going to play Camille, you're obviously going to get the 40% cooldown reduction, and you're also going to max out E first, which I will get into later. But if you're going to chase down people and you hit your first E or you miss your first E and they want to run away because they're about to die, you can just wait for your E to come back up, which basically is really low cooldown, so you can just chase down people completely and destroy them. Now for the cons, she is really skill dependent. Basically what I'm talking about is that if you want to learn Camille, you need at least 20 to 30 games if you want to play her on a good level. Now she's also really bad against CC because if the enemy team has CC and they do it properly, they can stun you the moment that your true damage comes up, which basically is your main damage source. So she is really bad against CC in overall, and her early game is also really bad. There are two reasons why Camille's early game is really bad, and the first reason is that she has really bad wave clear. She probably has one of the worst out of all the bruisers because she needs to rush the TMF as soon as possible because she is just super slow. And the second reason why she really is a bad champion in the early game is because her early traits are really awful. The problem that she has is that most of her abilities cost far too much mana in the early game, so if you want to do a good trade, you would lose all your mana. Now one final thing that she really is bad at, which I will get into later, is that she is really weak against AD carries. Some people might think it's actually really good against ADCs, but it's actually one of the worst because ADCs can simply enter down the lane and they can kite her down until she is low and she's forced to back off. Camille needs far too much scaling to be good against AD carries, so you don't want to pick her against these. So now we go over runes and masteries and stuff. So for runes, you want to have this rune page. This rune page is by far what works the best for me. It has a decent early game. It also has really good scaling for the late game. And for masteries, you want to have 18, 0, and 12. Once again, this is by far what works the best for me. I would never want to change because this works by far the best. Now for the skill order, you want to start with Q on the camp, then you want to go E and W, and then you want to max out E first because this is really important. Maxing E lowers the cooldown, basically allowing you to spam it a lot more often than you should be able to, which is really good, especially on Twisted Treeline because you got like a ton of walls. Then you want to go and max out Q, and then you want to max out W. But if you're the type of person that wants to have a lot of damage, you can also max Q first, but I don't really recommend you to do that. Now going over to the item build, you want to start off with the longsword, the jungle item, and the refillable potion. Then you want to farm up as fast as possible for the TMF, because the wave clear is really awful. So you want to get it as soon as you have the gold for it. Then you want to get the Triforce, because Triforce is the main source of damage, which helps your true damage to do a lot more damage. Then you want to go and get your jungle item, because that's really important. You want to forget about the boots now and just instantly go for the jungle item, because it gives you the red smite, which is really important. It also gives you the CDR and a lot of damage. Then you want to choose which boots you need. In this picture I got Ninja Tabi, but if you play against heavy AD, you want to get Ninja Tabi. If you play against heavy AP, you want to get Mercs, or even if you play against hard CC, you want to get Mercs too. If you don't have problems with not going for Ninja Tabi or Mercs at all, you can also go for the CDR boots, so you can get your 40% a lot faster. Then you want to go for Sterix Gauge, and this item, people think it's really awful. In my opinion, it's still a really good item, so you really want to get this item on Camille. And here's the important thing. The 6th item is completely your choice, depending on how the game goes. If the enemy team has something that life steals a lot, you want to get Executioner and finish it off into a Last Whisper. If they don't have that, you want to go for QSS if they have a lot of AP burst. But if they don't have any of those, the last item is completely optimal to you. It can be a tanky item, it can be QSS, it can be anything that has lifesteal, it can be anything you want. Now let's talk a bit about what you have to do in the early game with Camille. So basically what you want to be doing in the early game with her is you want to farm up TMF and Triforce as soon as possible. Those items are completely necessary in order to do 2v2s on top lane. So what you want to be doing while farming is you want to try looking for ganks on the bot lane, because she has really great high mobility and she has really good ultimate which you can lock down people with. She is so easy to get kills with on bot lane, so you mainly want to be abusing that power. And also, once you get to that point where you got the Triforce and the TMF, that's basically where the game will turn around. That's where I would say it comes down to the mid-late game. Not specifically late game yet, but in the mid-late game you want to be doing the same thing over and over again. So what you want to be doing in this time is you want to be farming your jungle, then you want to push top lane, and you want your bot laner to be pushing at the same time. Basically allowing the enemy team to split up into 2 pieces where they have to farm top and bot, and you can just pick them off immediately. You go into the jungle, if you see bot lane showing up on himself, you go there, you jump on him, you lock him down, and you kill him, basically turning the game into a 3v2. And you want to be repeating this over and over again, basically never team fighting and just taking down kills, getting spiders, getting towers, and just doing the same thing over and over again. Now one thing you should really understand about Camille is that her team fighting is not great at all. Her team fighting is pretty decent, I must admit, but it's definitely not the best. So you want to be avoiding team fights as much as you can. Anyways guys, this was the guide of today, so if you really enjoyed it and if you think this is really helpful to you, then please make sure you like, and if you're not subscribed yet, then please make sure you subscribe. So once again, thank you a lot for watching, and peace.